Hi, Virginia.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. All right. I know you just went through a period of going through an audit with the IRS, and we actually went to appeals. I wanted you to talk to other investors. First of all, how did you hear about me, and what was the experience prior to coming to the Wealth Building CPA, and what was the experience working with us, and what was the results of the audit, and what would you say to any other investor that's having to deal with the IRS?
Well, let me start off with saying that I've been in the mortgage industry for over 14 years and always loved real estate, and thought one day, I'm going to be a real estate investor, and I'm going to jump out there and see how it goes, and because this is something that I love. So me, about 5 years ago, decided that I was going to buy a property and fix it up and rent it out, and me not knowing anything about how to do that, but learning on my way, it was fun and interesting. And so a couple of years later, going to a local investor group, I ran into Ebere. I think we exchanged cards, and I've seen you there several times, maybe talked to me maybe once or twice. Mm-hmm. And I always had kept your card, but years just went past, and me being a new investor, me being a landlord, and me not knowing the business inside out, I have made some major mistakes in how to structure doing my taxes with owning investment properties. So after a couple of years of making a mistake and choosing the wrong CPA to do your taxes, I got in trouble. So, of course, I got audited and didn't know where to turn, didn't know who to go to, and thinking back, I need somebody that knows the business, knows the ins and outs about real estate, knows that they're an avid investor themselves. So it clicked in my mind and said, I remember Ebere. I think I still have her number. And I found her number, and I called her and said, Ebere, I need your help. And it's just funny that, somebody that I had probably seen briefly in a 10-minute introduction and being a part of an investor group and not having any more contact with her, but she stuck in my head. Unfortunately, me taking the trust in a regular CPA that does not know the business, that does not know about vesting, did my taxes and did them all wrong. There was a lot of benefits that I lost out on, a lot of things that I didn't know about. Going to the investor groups, I did learn a lot of new things that I should have learned before I jumped into the business. That is the most biggest important thing to do. If you want to be an investor, definitely take the time to get out there and learn the business, some of the ins and outs, not just getting into a property, learn the back end of trying to do your taxes and how you're going to write off this property and different other things like that. So I contacted Ebere and let her know that I've been audited, and I asked her I needed her help. And she worked with me. Her and her team was absolutely wonderful. I thought I was going to never get out of this situation. I thought I was just done for years. She took all my tax information. She went through it. She talked to the IRS for me. We were able to work the numbers out, and lo and behold, there was 1 year that came to a big benefit just because of Ebere and her knowledge of the investing and doing the write-offs properly when you have an investment property. So I think... And
I think you did, I think you contacted us after you went to our appeals because we didn't deal with the IRS auditor. We had actually gone to appeals.
Right.
So the IRS auditor had closed out this case showing that you had this huge $30-something thousand liability, and we had to go to appeals to the appeals examiner to prove that you actually don't owe this money. And the big change that you were talking about was that the former CPA that prepared your return forgot to calculate the loss on gain loss on the retirement of your rental property when you sold the property. He forgot or he did not know how to write it off, and that was a huge deduction that was missed on your return.
Yes. And I'm learning now that paperwork and keeping up on all your documentation is the most important thing in this business. Keep it, even if you don't think you need it, because you might come back again, and it might come back, and you will. And with all the help that Ebere and her team did for me, I'm very grateful and very excited about trying to get back into the business and working with Ebere and her group to learn the business the proper way.
Great. And what would be your advice to any investor, one that is out there either going through an IRS audit or going through appeals or, just got a letter from the IRS? If you were to do it over again, what would be the steps? What would you tell them to do?
Well, the first thing I would have definitely did was to hire or work with somebody that knows the business, because the most important thing is if you have there's so many good write-offs for you and benefits for you as being an investor, and if you don't know about these things, that it can be a downfall for you. So having a CPA like Ebere and her group knows the business, knows the ins and outs, knows the write-offs, having that person in your corner to get you through will save you a lot of headaches, sleepless nights, and and will save you a lot of money in your pocket.
Yeah, and also, I've often had people call and say, "Well, Ebere, you're out of town. I'm in California and I'm in New York. I know you met me at the real estate club, but of course I meet a lot of people, but." Can you share about your experience? Did you ever have to come into the office? What was it like working with us? And do you think location matters in working with a good CPA?
Well, location doesn't matter because actually my investment property was in Pennsylvania. I relocated here to Maryland. Most of our conversations were on the phone, through email, through faxing. So it was very easy going, and it wasn't anything I had to run around and do. It was all taken care of very professionally and through phone calls and emails, which was great for me.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you coming on the line, and we will talk to you later. Do you have any closing comments or any other thing to say?
Just to let everybody know that if you're an avid investor or trying to get into the business, it is very imperative that you have a good working team behind you, and having an excellent CPA like Ebere, and it's a benefit to have that kind of backing when you're into this type of business. And I thank you and your team for all your help you've done for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia, and I look forward to working with you. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.